He was just a black man selling water on the corner, trying to raise money and stay out of trouble. But when a white cop stopped to humiliate him, everything changed in seconds, thanks to a billboard he never saw coming. This is more than just a story. It's a message. It was 96 degrees in the shade, the kind of day where the asphalt shimmered, the breeze disappeared, and patience dried up just as fast as the sweat pouring down foreheads. On the corner of Peachtree Street and Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, Jalen Miles stood with a cooler, a sign that read, "Ice-cold water. $1, 100% legal, black-owned hustle." He smiled at every passerby, wiping his forehead with a towel tucked in his back pocket. His sneakers were beat up, but clean. His T-shirt read, "Dreams over doubt." Jalen wasn't homeless. He wasn't out there because he had no options. He was there on purpose. Fresh out of college, Morehouse, class of 2024, Jalen was raising money to fund his nonprofit startup, Next Step ATL, a mentorship and job placement program for black youth who'd aged out of foster care. He'd already burned through most of his savings. The grants were slow, donations inconsistent, but Jalen refused to give up. He'd sell water for days if it meant one more kid got a shot he never had. So while others saw a water boy, Jalen saw himself as a CEO in training, building from the ground up. He just didn't know that someone was watching. The police cruiser rolled up slow. Jalen looked up and saw Officer Brent Holloway, white mid-40s, clean-shaven with mirrored sunglasses, and a smirk that arrived before his words. "Afternoon, sir," Jalen said politely, offering him a water. Holloway didn't take it. Instead, he stepped out, hands on his belt. "You got permit for this little operation?" "Yes, sir," Jalen replied, handing over a laminated vendor license. "I'm registered with the city. Nothing shady. Just water and hustle." Holloway squinted at the ID, then at Jalen. "Let me guess you couldn't get a real job, huh?" Jalen blinked. "Excuse me? This corner hustle? Selling bottles on the street? Man, what happened to McDonald's? Or wait, you get fired from that too." People around began slowing down. A mother with her daughter stopped near the crosswalk. A couple teens recording TikToks paused. Jalen's heart raced, but he kept his voice steady. "I'm raising money for a nonprofit. I work for myself." Holloway chuckled. "You mean panhandling with style?" "Got it." Jalen clenched his jaw. He refused to lash out. That was a trap. One wrong move, and he would be labeled a problem. "Sir, I'm just doing my thing," Jalen said. Right. Black man in a hoodie, standing on a corner with a cooler full of who knows what. Holloway muttered, "I've seen this before." Jalen tried to smile through it. It's water and ambition. By now, a few more phones had come out. People sensed something was brewing. Then it happened. As Holloway reached for Jalen's ID again, someone behind him gasped, "Yo, look up." Everyone's eyes turned skyward. Above them, towering 6 stories high on a digital billboard, was a stunning black and white photo of Jalen Miles, arms folded, dressed in a suit, smiling wide with confidence. The text read, "Meet Jalen Miles, Morehouse graduate, founder of Next Step ATL, helping foster youth step into power." Below it, in bold, "The future looks like this." Jalen hadn't even known it had gone up yet. It was part of a citywide campaign funded by a black-owned media group to spotlight rising young changemakers. For a full 5 seconds, the block fell completely silent, except for the soft hum of traffic and the flicker of digital pride glowing above them. Holloway turned around slowly. His sunglasses slipped down his nose. Jalen didn't say a word. He didn't have to. The moment turned. Holloway backed off, handed Jalen his ID. "You're good to go," he mumbled. But it was too late. A young girl, maybe 11, pointed at the billboard. "Mama, that's him. The man selling the water." The mother nodded, eyes proud. "Yep, that's a king right there." Jalen stood tall, chest rising. The teens filming? Already posting it live. By the next morning, the video hit 2.1 million views. Caption: "Cop tries to clown black man selling water, then sees his face on the billboard above." Jalen was invited to speak on Good Morning America. He sat across from the anchor, suit-pressed, hair-lined, words sharp. "I wasn't embarrassed," he said. "I was focused, because I know who I am." "What do you hope Officer Holloway learned?" the host asked. Jalen paused. "I hope he learned that status doesn't come with skin color or a badge, and that the man you're mocking today might be the one writing your paycheck tomorrow." The crowd applauded. 2 weeks later, a folded note appeared in the nonprofit office mail slot. It was from Holloway. "Jalen, you caught me. You embarrassed me. But you also taught me something I didn't expect. That maybe I've been looking down on people. Because I never knew how to look within. If you ever need volunteers, I'll be there. Even if all I'm good for is carrying the cooler." Jalen smiled. He wrote back, "Come through. We got a food drive this Saturday. Everyone's welcome, especially those ready to grow. Respect the hustle, because that man with a cooler, that girl braiding hair on the porch, that teen washing windows, they might just be building an empire while you're writing them off. And no amount of mocking can stop someone who knows exactly who they are." Jalen didn't raise his voice. He raised the standard. And he showed the world that your worth isn't measured by where you stand, but by how far you're willing to climb. Brent Holloway's smirk disintegrated as his eyes locked onto the billboard. There was Jalen's sharp, confident gaze looked out from the glowing screen above the street. His name was bold, big, impossible to miss. Jalen Miles, founder of Rise Up ATL, empowering youth, changing lives. In smaller print, it read, as featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. The crowd erupted, not in chaos, but awe. A few people who'd been filming lowered their phones, blinking at the screen, then back at Jalen. Holloway's mouth opened, then shut. His lips twitched like he was trying to find words, but couldn't shape them. "You were saying something, officer?" Jalen said calmly, not with sarcasm, not with venom, just grace. The kind that burned hotter than anger. "I didn't know," Holloway began, stammering, "that I'm not a thug." Jalen replied, "That I'm not a criminal? That maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't size people up by their hustle or their skin." A woman in the crowd shouted, "Talk to him." Another person added, "Nah, don't backtrack now, officer. You were real confident 2 minutes ago." Brent's hand hovered awkwardly near his belt, not on his weapon, but close, nervous. He was used to control. He wasn't used to this, being disarmed without anyone lifting a finger. By the time Brent shuffled back to his patrol car, without arrest, without apology, the videos were already trending. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, millions of views overnight. Jalen's calm response, the towering billboard, the crowd reaction. It all created a cinematic moment of poetic justice. Hashtag Jalen Miles, hashtag Rise Up ATL, hashtag Respect the Hustle, hashtag Billboard Justice. The hashtags became a movement. Jalen didn't bask in it. He wasn't about the fame. Within days, Jalen was invited to speak at universities, on national television, even at Atlanta City Hall. CNN aired a special segment titled, "The Man Behind the Billboard. Who is Jalen Miles?" He spoke not just about the officer, but about the system that made the officer think he had the right to demean a man working under the sun. "It wasn't about me," Jalen said on air. "It was about a mindset, where success only looks like a suit, a desk, a certain shade of skin. We've been told to dress up for respect. But truth is, dignity doesn't need a dress code." Brent Holloway was placed under internal review. Video evidence, combined with past complaints from other citizens, led to the suspension without pay. Eventually, he was transferred out of the field entirely. The department issued a public apology, but Jalen never commented on it. In an interview, when asked how he felt about the officer's fate, Jalen replied, "That's not my focus. My focus is on kids who look like me, so they never have to shrink when someone in a uniform doubts their worth." With donations pouring in after the viral moment, Jalen opened a youth center in the heart of Atlanta. Free mentoring, coding workshops, entrepreneurship boot camps, a gym, and yes, a vending station where kids could sell water bottles proudly. Above its entrance, the same billboard image, not for ego, but as a reminder, where you start doesn't define where you'll go. This story wasn't just about a disrespectful cop. It was about how society still places worth based on stereotypes. It's about how black youth are still expected to prove their humanity before they're treated with dignity. It's about how hustle, pride, and vision are still seen as threats, unless they're dressed in acceptable form. But Jalen proved something bigger that day. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need validation to walk with purpose. And no matter what they say, your story is yours to write. Like this story? Don't forget to subscribe for more real, emotional stories that shine a light on truth and justice. Drop a comment. Have you ever been underestimated or misjudged because of how you looked, dressed, or where you were? Share your story.